All right, I'm going to do a service today on the Suzuki Quadrunner 250 four-wheel drive model. I'm going to go through and do a complete service on this. Check my channel. I've done valve adjustment videos, carb rebuild and remove videos. I have done dug into the bottom end, the transmission, rebuilt clutches. I've done an overview of this four-wheeler as well. So make sure and check those out. Right now I'm going to go through and service the four-wheeler. First thing we're going to do before we go and service this four-wheeler, we're going to start this four-wheeler, let it run for a couple minutes, get that engine oil warmed up. It does hold a good amount of oil, so you want to make sure that it's relatively warm before you change that oil. Kind of turns up those particles that are in the bottom end, gets those moved around a little bit, loosens that oil up, and allows it to drain a little bit quicker. Underneath, we've got the clutch cover removed at this time. On the clutch cover itself, right here is going to be your oil filter, and it's 3 bolts and kind of a triangular shape, a little bit of a round shape, but in a triangle pattern with these bolts. Remove those nuts there, pull that oil filter cover off, and then replace a new oil filter. What I like to do first, though, is drain that oil. That way that oil will just drop down into one drain pan, so you're not getting oil all over by removing that oil filter cover. Will be quite a bit of oil in that cover just because you started and ran that four-wheeler for several minutes. So underneath there, if you can see, is a drain plug. It can be a little bit hard to see. I'll try to get you to a spot where you can. All right, underneath there is your drain plug there. There is a larger drain plug there, and then in the back, and I'll show you that when I go around back, we can also drain the oil there. 2 spots where you can drain it. Most of it will drain out of this plug here, but you can see if you look from the right hand side, there's kind of a separate lower case down here. It's not completely separate. They're all one case, but there is some oil that's going to get stuck down in this back part of the case here. So make sure you drain that 14 millimeter plug as well. Again, I'll show you that here in a little bit. So get that oil draining, and then when we got majority of it out, and it will hold almost 4 quarts, so make sure you've got a big enough drain pan. Then I go ahead and remove our oil filter cover there, pull the oil filter, replace it with a new one right away. Then I go ahead and put my drain plugs back in, and to fill the engine oil, it's in a little bit of an unusual spot because our rear differential and our engine oil is completely all one unit. Our engine oil is clear in the back here, and that is where you fill it. A 1040 oil, again, that holds 3.8 quarts of oil, so you want to make sure that you have plenty there. And again, I'll get you those specs here in a little bit. While you're back here filling up with engine oil, you want to check your CV boots, that make sure there's no rips or tears in there, because you will have a more serious problem if you let those rips and tears go unfixed. Okay, once you put in the 3.8 quarts, you want to start your four-wheeler up again and let it run for a little bit. Then you can check your oil just to verify that you've got the correct amount in there. Next thing I like to do when I service a four-wheeler, and be careful if you've warmed up this four-wheeler very long, this area here is going to be fairly warm. Pull this cap off, and typically you'd have a cover over here. It's not going to be enough of a cover to where you can't get to this spark plug here, but you do want to make sure that you're replacing oil. You do want to make sure you replace your spark plug every time you service your four-wheeler. That'll keep it running good. It'll help it to start better. Then once you get that spark plug in there, take and put that cap on there. You can hear there's a little bit of a noise, a snapping noise when you're putting that back on. That's a good thing. That's making sure that it's holding that in place. You've got a front differential on this model since it is a four-wheel drive. And to drain that oil, there is a plug. It's a 21 millimeter plug on the bottom of your differential there. You do have to remove this skid plate to get to that differential, that drain plug. But you can remove that differential skid plate. Then you can drain your oil, again, with a 21 millimeter wrench. Right above on the right-hand side is your fill plug. And this is, I believe, a 17 millimeter fill plug there. And you put a hypoid gear oil in this front differential. You want to make sure it's a 80 weight, 90 is the weight that I like to use. And it doesn't take very much oil in there, but as soon as it starts coming out of your fill cap there, then you know you have enough oil in there. So that is your fill cap as well as your oil check bolt there. That is the front differential on this Quadrunner. Again, you want to inspect these boots on either side here, and then boots on this side here. Make sure there's no rips or tears. Now we're going to hop up and we are going to get to the air filter to make sure that that's in good condition. Here's a lever here on the left-hand side of the four-wheeler. Push that lever forward. Your seat's actually going to pull forward on this model. A little bit unusual from the other four-wheelers. You can take and pull that forward. Set that seat aside. Up here is your air filter. You've got two 10mm bolts here. Remove this. Inside there is your air filter. Make sure you clean and replace that every time you service your four-wheeler as well. Also, keep an eye out on our channel. We're going to do a complete carb clean on this Suzuki Quadrunner, as well as a couple other videos, so check out those on my channel. That is pretty much it for servicing this Quadrunner 250 four-wheel drive. One other thing I wanted to show you quick before I let you go is your VIN number on this model. The left-hand rear of your four-wheeler is going to have a tag on it right there, and that's going to be your VIN number. It's going to be 17 digits, and you're going to read it from the top to the bottom will be your VIN number there. All right, that is a complete service on the Quadrunner 250. I want to take you over now and show you a lot of the service specs on this four-wheeler. That way you have an idea as far as capacities, what oil to use, spark plug gap, carburetor numbers, stuff like that. Here in the middle, you're going to see the Quadrunner 250 specs. You've got 2000 and 2001. You've got your valve clearances there. Down here, you've got some electrical numbers. You've got your spark plug numbers there, what spark plug to run in there. Underneath there, you're going to have some idle speed, some of your carburetor components there. Your main jet is a 117.5. You've got your battery and charging system. And then over on this side here, this is oil capacity here. So it's a 1040 oil, takes 3.8 quarts. Down here, tire size. You've got some of your torque settings there. And on your motor there, there's some torque settings as well. So that is some specs on the Suzuki Quadrunner 250. If you guys have found this video helpful, if you've liked this video, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. Please share this video if it's been helpful. And thanks for watching.